We get asked so many times, how do I stay peaceful in the presence of difficult people? People who say things and do things that are unacceptable and very difficult to handle. And this is where you need to dig a little bit deeper, take a step back, and understand what is getting triggered and how your reactions are manifesting. It turns out that what people say and do is nothing to do with your reactions. Your reactions are based on the ideas you hold being conflicted or responding to the things that people say and do. So one person is triggered in a certain situation because they hold a certain set of ideas about the subject matters or the way people speak or the things people say and do. And another person in the exact same environment is calm and peaceful because their ideas remain untouched by the things that the same people are saying and doing. The best way I can probably explain this is if you hold a belief that something is true and right in a certain situation, and somebody speaks to you and says that idea is wrong or that idea is not true and not right, then you are honor bound to react because you hold the belief that conflicts with the thing that somebody said. In that case, you can understand that your reaction is to place your opinion into the sphere and say, I think this, and you are almost doing so involuntarily. When we're triggered, when people say and do things, it is a collection of ideas. It's not just one idea that's responding to the situation. It is a collection of beliefs, opinions, and possibly values as well. So sometimes we're on a journey and we find our parents the most difficult to deal with. And that's because we've got a lifetime of accumulated belief and familiarity with our parents. And each thing they say we find way more annoying or triggering because we've been able to create lots and lots of ideas about those people. So often when people are on a journey to peace, they find certain individuals, their partner, their parents, or certain friends really, really difficult. Yet they find everybody else is starting to melt away and they're not bothered by anything in particular. And that's because your belief set is diverse, it is multi-layered, and it is multidimensional. Each time somebody says something that touches one of your beliefs, then you will react if that belief is held as important and true for you. And these can be subtle things. Even though I'm saying they're important and true, it doesn't mean they're big life issues or anything like that. It means that you hold an opinion maybe of the person, the way they speak, what they normally say. You've created an opinion that you don't like some of the things they say or the way they say it. And each thing they do is becoming a trigger, and you can't avoid your reaction. So what we need to understand is that we have this accumulated belief set that is built over a full lifetime, and it is accumulated just by judgment. So saying, I like it, I don't like it, I want it, I don't want it, it annoys me, it doesn't annoy me, it should happen, it shouldn't happen. And as we do this accumulation, we are building a huge set of triggers. The people who are more familiar to us, we build more ideas about, and therefore will always trigger us more than the people who we're not with very often, and we don't get time to judge just as much. But what's important is the focus on the fact that it is not the person whose behavior, words, or concepts are actually triggering you. It is your own ideas that provide the trigger. And that's really important to understand, because what you'll find is if you want to get peace, you can't change the people outside. You can't stop them being them. You can't change what they talk about. And in order to change your reactivity, you've got to change the way your ideas are held. whether they are important and true is the only thing you can do, because you've already got the ideas. So moving forward, if you want to arrive at a place where you can stay calm in the presence of everyone, you're not getting triggered, you're not finding situations difficult, you're not avoiding people just because they make you feel a certain way, then you have to go down a path of starting to learn how the ideas got there, how you attach to them, making them important and true, and how to dissolve them and make them unimportant and untrue for you. If the ideas are there and they're true and important, you will be triggered. And that is a fact of life. If you keep the ideas and keep the importance, you will be triggered. So this is a movement forward on your path. It is learning to dissolve and let go. It's learning forms of meditation, forms of redirection, and forms of practice that will completely change your reactivity and allow you to respond in any given situation rather than react. Response and reaction are two totally different things. Response is when you are calm inside and you have time to decide how you are going to go back to a certain person, and if at all you're going to respond or react. Reaction is when your ideas, your personal truths are going to be triggered and you have no power against it, so that you have to respond or you have to say something or do something or run away even. Often our triggers make us take action just after a thought. So we think we've got to get out of a situation, we've got to avoid a particular person, or we've got to say a certain thing, and we have no choice. So while we've got the ideas, we have no choice, and this is a massive subjectivity. Once we understand the journey to peace, we understand that we don't want this mass of subjective opinion. But in order to lower the density of the mass of subjective opinion, we have to do two things. We have to learn how to dissolve it, and we also have to learn how not to keep refilling it and placing more ideas and more truth and importance into things that have no truth and importance. The only truth and importance is that which we add, and our belief makes truth. Everything else is just an opinion. So as we move our lives forward into peace, and as we meet the challenges of the different people who trigger us, it is important to start to use those interactions as practice. Use those interactions to both watch and see the triggers, but also they can be used to redirect into sensory input and disregard the thoughts associated with the triggers. As we disregard the thoughts, we become more and more peaceful. And those ideas underneath the thoughts become less of a trigger until they don't trigger us at all, and we're peaceful around everyone. So becoming peaceful around everyone is about always being conscious enough to see that we're thinking under a trigger and then move back to our sensory inputs. Hope that helps.